ready for adventure? We're Mo and Joy, lifelong friends who love to travel. Join us as we share our travel stories, enjoy delicious foods, and discover new friends. We'll share random thoughts, talk about life in the South, and the hilarious lessons we've learned along the way. We're not just sharing our experiences. We want to inspire you to get out there and explore. So buckle up. It's time to hit the road with Mo and Joy. Hello and welcome to Hit the Road with Mo and Joy. Hi Mo, how's it going?
Hi Joy, it's been a little crazy.
It has been a little crazy.
Especially for you.
Yeah, life keeps happening a lot.
Indeed.
We have Lauren here with us.
Yay, we're so excited.
Hello.
Yes, we're excited to have you on for season 2. This is our interview for season 2.
Yep.
And our first video interview.
Yep.
Making history.
Yeah, so actually, Joy flashed back to season 1. Lauren's mom was our first web interview for Christmas on the Elbe.
It was Christmas on the Elbe in Paris. She talked all about her...
Oh, Germany.
Germany. That's what I meant.
And
isn't Paris the same as Germany?
Hold on. Germany and Polandish?
Czech Republic. We went to Prague.
Prague. Thank you.
She got it.
Yes, she was there.
Yes,
so
I
she
was
would
there.
know. This is bad, like bad memory stuff.
Right. So we are excited to interview LoLo today.
Yes.
And we didn't talk about what we call you.
You can call me anything, Lauren, Lolo.
Okay.
It all works. I'll respond. That's all that matters.
I'm so used to Mo calling her Lolo, so I might say that. But we're excited to interview her today, and we're going to talk all about your student adventures when you went over on an exchange program. This is going to be really helpful for any of the students that are getting ready to study abroad and their parents, quite honestly, too. We want to hear about your favorite travel spots and all the different things. So, Lauren, welcome to the podcast officially.
Thank you. I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So you went one semester. You had 16 countries.
I think 14.
14?
I counted wrong when I sent you guys the number. I got a little confused, but I think it's 14 when I double checked. I had to go through Instagram and scroll and look at my posts.
Okay.
Oh boy.
So
That's still a lot though.
It's a ton.
yeah. And how many classes?
Oh, like 4.
4?
Maybe.
Yeah. That's
If
a lot.
I went to them, pretty much. No,
Oh,
I did. I went to all of them. They were fun.
Very cool.
Yes, we are definitely excited to have you highlight this trip. You are, let's see, gosh, is it the end of the year? You're going to be approaching your 2-year anniversary?
I think 2 years, yeah, in fall. So right at the beginning of this next fall semester will be 2 years since I lived in Spain.
Wow.
That's really crazy. And, you know, I'm also really excited because, as you know, I called you about my niece, and she will be studying abroad as well in the near future. So we hadn't really given it much thought until I got the call regarding my niece. And I was like, wait a minute. Even though it might not be our actual norm, it might be really helpful to have some feedback from, you know, a younger person, a student who has had these experiences, answer some questions, share some fun stories. And not only could it help, you know, my niece, but it could maybe help lots of people that are trying to decide, hey, is this what's right for my child? Is this what's right for our family? What can we expect? What can our kid expect?
Yeah. No, definitely. I think it would be super helpful. I did a lot of research kind of like that before I had gone abroad, whether it was like on TikTok or just looking up on chat, asking all kinds of questions just to kind of see what I could expect, because I'd never done anything like that. It was a big change in my life, and it was really cool, but I definitely could have used something like this, I think.
All right. Well, first question before we actually get started. Did you keep any kind of travel journal?
I did keep the travel journal. I wish that I should have brought it with you guys, but I think it's actually at my house in Tallahassee. I go to Florida State. Go Noles.
Go Noles. Yeah, she's a Gator. She's like the soul Gator.
Oh, it's okay. Not everybody can be perfect. It's fine.
There we go.
Yes, I did keep one, and I kept all kinds of just mementos, whether it's receipts or tickets from places that I had gone to, and I taped them in there, and I wrote little stories of just like who I was with, who I met. Yeah, like pen to paper. I hand wrote. Cool. Yes, and I still am like, it's been 2 years now, and I still need to like continue to update it because you do get super busy, especially just like being my age and super young and traveling to all these places. And I was like, I don't have time to journal right now. I need to go do stuff.
Go do more.
Yeah. And so, but most of my trips are written in there, and I've like gone back recently and read through some of my stories. Yeah. And I just was like, oh my God, I completely forgot. Like, this is somebody that I met. Like, this is so funny. It was just a random man on the train, but he like made my day. Yeah. And so, yeah, no, it's something that I really enjoyed, and I'm really glad that, well, my mom actually, she encouraged me to do it. She bought me the journal and was like, just write stories of like whatever you do in it. And so I'm really glad that I ended up actually following through with that.
That was excellent advice from your mom. We're definitely all from the age of kind of like really enjoying the written word. And, you know, when we did our trip to Ireland, I kept an actual journal, which I haven't done like a full journal like that in a long time. And even we found that some days I kind of got a little bit behind or whatever. But when we did the Ireland road trip podcast, we found it so helpful because we were able to go back, and we had forgotten obviously so many things. But it's funny because Joy didn't realize that my first travel journal was, we were in 8th grade, Catholic school. Neither one of us are Catholic. But, I got to go to Europe with my grandparents. And so I was out of school for a bit. And my requirement was I had to keep a detailed travel journal. And I had to turn it in as an assignment. So that was my first experience. And I'm a big fan, even though yes, it takes up time and it might not feel sexy, it's a great tool.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna definitely love looking back on it when I'm like 45 with the family, just to remember. Maybe not even
45 with the family.
Well, hopefully by that point I'd have a family. We'll see. But just to go back when I'm older and read through it and see what I was doing when I was a crazy 20-year-old, doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. All the things. Well, Joy, I know that we kind of designed this interview to have kind of 3 parts. So the first part is going to be a little bit more focused from a student perspective. The second part, a little bit more geared towards the parents. And then the third part, which may or may not be the most exciting part, is the actual travel itself. So, yeah, let's go ahead and I guess start with how did the opportunity come about?
So Florida State has a really amazing study abroad program. We have campuses in multiple different countries. And so I had just been thinking about it for the longest time, like, where would I want to go? Where would I want to study abroad? And I was looking through them. So they have a campus in Valencia, Spain, and then they have another campus in Italy. I forget exactly where in Italy. And then another one in London, England. And I think in Panama we have a campus too, which is super cool. But yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome. I had no idea until I looked into it when I was applying for study abroad. But my mom, she always encouraged me to go on study abroad because she studied abroad in college as well.
That's right.
And I finally just decided to do it one day. It was over winter break, I think I applied. And I was just like, okay, I'm just going to go for it. I don't really know why. I just decided one day. I called my parents and I was like, hey, this is something I'm doing, just letting you know. And I decided to go with Spain because I had taken Spanish for 7 years. And it was something I really wanted to kind of get back into the language because I could kick myself in the butt for not minoring in Spanish in college because I took it for so long in middle school and high school. And then I was like, I'm tired of this. I don't want to do Spanish anymore. And take any more of those classes. So then I was just like, okay, I do want to get back into Spanish. So hence why I chose Spain. And then it was just kind of on a whim when I did it one day, and I applied and I got in, which is really exciting. Yeah.
Well, let's see. When we first started talking about firming up this interview, I had mentioned that a good portion of the discussion would be centered around advice, tips, anything like that you could have benefited from the time that you started planning. Can you tell us what would have been helpful for you to know before you went?
Yeah, before I went, definitely don't be as scared as you might be at first.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is scary. It's a big thing, but you're going to get through it, and you're going to have a fun time doing it too. And I was a little nervous at first. I think it didn't really hit me until I made it to the Atlanta airport, and I was getting on my big flight.
Reality check.
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Right? And I'm going to the international part of the airport, and I'm seeing other kids in their Florida State shirt because they're about to all go and study abroad with me. And I didn't wear the shirt because I was like, I don't want people to know. I just want to seem mysterious and cool at the airport, like this girl going to Spain for no reason. And no, actually it was really helpful that these kids were wearing these shirts, because then I was able to go up and introduce myself to one of these kids. His name was Jack. And I saw he was wearing the FSU study abroad. So I went up and I was like, are you studying abroad too? And he was like, yeah, I'm going to Valencia. And I was like, oh my gosh, me too, which was really crazy because he ended up being my roommate while we were there, which is super crazy. And we sat right by each other on the plane. He sat right behind me. It was insane.
Very cool.
Really random, but I'm really glad. I should have been way less scared in that moment, but I'm glad that I was able to make a friend, and that was really helpful. So don't be afraid to just talk to strangers too.
Yes.
Because it makes the
strangers after you've evaluated.
After you evaluate. He was all clearly from my school, and so I was like, okay, he's definitely studying abroad with me. So that's why I approached
cautious
him.
Bonus aunt, feeling.
That is true. We say stranger danger. Another thing, pack a little bit lighter than you might like to.
I feel that.
Yeah, I overpacked tremendously, and I still felt like I just packed the wrong type of things too. So put your time and effort into figuring out exactly what you want to wear. Go with the basics, couple pairs of jeans and pants, and maybe one bathing suit. Nothing too crazy, because I did end up buying a lot of clothes while I was there, obviously, because I was in Europe. And then I had to buy 2 suitcases to come home.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. So,
oh boy,
it was a lot, yeah. And so buying the 2 suitcases, they were pretty cheap, and then they all got destroyed by the time I got home because they were super cheap suitcases. But yeah, definitely I should have packed lighter, and I should have packed more comfy clothes, because I only packed super cute outfits because I'm like, I'm going to be doing all this cool stuff that I forget that, okay, I'm actually a student and I will be living in
You're
Spain.
living there, basically.
Yeah, I was there for about 4 months, so I just didn't have enough sweatshirts, pair of sweatpants to hang out in my living room in my apartment. Instead, I'm hanging around in my jeans for a while until I decided to go buy some. So definitely that kinds of things. And then, what's some more advice that I wish I knew? Definitely doing your research beforehand, maybe even planning out. I didn't plan any trips or any countries that I wanted to visit while I was there. I just kind of packed up and went to Spain and didn't really put any more thought behind it. But I wish before I got there, that I planned some of the trips that I wanted to go on, because that was less work for me to do once I actually got to Spain. And because that, honestly, for me, it took hours and hours to plan these trips, because I would book out all of the tours I wanted to go on, and then getting all of my tickets, when I could have just been out exploring the city during that time. So yeah, I think those are the major things that I wish I had learned beforehand.
So maybe to freestyle a little more than...
That's her word for it.
Plan.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I was actually thinking freestyle, so I'm glad you said it.
Yeah. So it sounds like, kind of going back a little bit, Spain was not your only option. You could have done other ones. But did you say what your secondary option was?
I think I would have gone to London.
Okay.
I would have still been in Europe.
Okay.
Definitely. London, for sure. I just think London's a fun city.
Yeah.
A bunch of cool hip people my age live in London, and it's just a language barrier. It's easy. There's no no language barrier. They all speak English, and I didn't have to worry about it. So that was my next, but I wanted to challenge myself a little bit with the Spanish and learn.
Right. And then it's so cool to be able to go and do the immersive type travel
Exactly.
as far as living the life and hanging out with the people and doing the daily stuff. One of the things that I saw was talking about World School, and they were pulling up their children and going and moving to different places, and they would spend 6 weeks maybe teaching how to surf over in Hawaii, and then they would go to Spain and teach how to, make pasta or make the local meals there and everything, and it sounded like such a cool opportunity. Can you talk more to being immersed in Spanish culture, what that meant to you and what you learned from?
Oh yeah, definitely. Going there, it kind of put me back a little bit for my major, but I took mostly cultural classes just to learn about the history of where I was going to be living, so in Valencia, and I took food and wine, which honestly, it was obviously my favorite class because I got to eat and like drink wine.
Oh,
it was
fun.
Great. Yeah, it was so fun, and I got graded for it, and I was like, okay, great. Like, this is the best class I've ever taken. Like, free A, let's go. Super easy. But, no, I loved it, and just learning all kinds of things. Like, we went to a paella making class, and we learned how to make paella. We ate so much paella by the end of it. I was like, I'm never eating paella again. Like, I'm tired of this. But it was so good. It was so good. And no, just kind of really just being able to walk out on the street, and then I practiced my Spanish, and I got a little bit better, obviously, while I was there, and I would try to conversate with all of the local people, and I'd be like, guys, like, help me out. Like, I would tell them beforehand, like, in Spanish, I would tell them that I am a student, and I'm living here from Florida, and that if I mess up, like, please give me, help me out. And I was like, just help and work with me. So being able to practice that with all of the locals, and they all really, really appreciated the fact that I was trying so hard. And I even had one of the guys from the local coffee shop across the street from where I was living in my dorm. He was like, your Spanish has gotten so much better than the beginning.
Noticed.
Yeah, and he was like, you've really like learned a lot. I'm so proud of you, Lauren. And I was like, oh, thank you. And then also there was this empanada shop like right down.
Ooh, empanadas.
It was so good. It was so good, and it was so cheap too. And then obviously I became friends with the worker guy. His name was Alex, and I he would give me free empanadas all the time. It was great. It was great. But I ended up just being able to chat with him every time I'd go in for maybe about like, gosh, sometimes like 20 minutes that I'm talking with this guy just to like get to know him and just kind of see what life is. He'd give me recommendations, and we ended up talking about school and all kinds of things, and he had stopped going to university. And he told me by the end, right before I left, the week that I was leaving, he was like, hey, you encouraged me and you just kind of inspired me to go back to school. And he went back to university to get his degree in accounting.
Oh, wow.
Even though I would tell him about how I hate my accounting class.
Right. I hated accounting too. It's like worst class ever.
Exactly. So just kind of like things like that, the little things of just talking to the locals and just kind of learning just about them and about their life and how much different it is here. It's a much slower pace, and they love their own culture, and they all love to just have a good time and just it was always just so relaxed around. There was not like this hustle and bustle all of the time, especially in Valencia, even with it being a little bit of a bigger city. And we were living downtown. But it was always super chill, and everybody was just always so kind to us, especially like knowing that we were students. They love when the Florida State students come back. They really do like it, even though there was this huge protest on tourism while we were there. But it was really crazy. It was kind of, they were catching things on fire. Is insane. So that was something about safety. Yeah, that was something about safety that we can get into a little bit later. But I was talking with the locals, and I was asking them their opinions on tourism and how they felt about us coming as students. And they were like, you guys are so much different than just like the tourists that come for like a week. They're like, you guys are actually like trying to learn about us and learn about our culture, and you guys are fun, and you hang out in our places and spend money on our businesses like all of the time. And they're like, we like you guys, especially the ones who really are active in like learning our language and just learning about our culture. And then they were like, and then there's tourists that just come and jack up all the prices for no reason. Right. And so that's just kind of what they didn't like. But learning about that from a different point of view, because obviously like in the US, I never really see that as an issue, but for like a little bit smaller towns in Europe, like that is a real issue for some of these locals who can't afford to live in their home that they've been living for forever in their families. It goes way back. So that was a lot of learning in a different aspect that I never thought of before, and I probably wouldn't have if I didn't have that experience. So that's kind of how I got immersed culturally. And of course the food, like I had to learn as much as possible about the food.
So I have a question about that. One of the discussions we have frequently is about European food and how it's better on our tummies and how we feel so much better. Is that the same with Spain and Valencia?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It's like night and day, honestly.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I was eating so much food, and I'm like, to be honest, I was drinking a lot too. But I went down multiple pant sizes while I was there, with all of the walking. Like I usually am like a 4 to a 6, and I got down to a 0 while I was there,
right.
which was crazy. I lost so much weight, and I was eating way more than I do here.
Yeah.
But it was good for me. It was food that didn't hurt my stomach, and that it didn't just like sit there and just like
Gut
suck.
bombs.
Yeah.
Right.
And
yeah, you were nourishing yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then of course with all the walking, because I didn't have a car and everything is so much easier to walk around while you're in Europe.
Yep.
That helped a lot too, but definitely the food, you just feel better all of the time too. Like I didn't feel as tired as I do while I'm here.
Yep.
I was definitely way more active feeling, like I was well rested, ready for the day, and just overall, I got sick maybe one time, but I was there for 4 months. Like,
yeah,
that's the same experience we had in Ireland. And, you know, for me, I was eating things there that I don't necessarily eat here, especially like the gelato, which I love me some gelato, but I have to be careful with some of those types of things here. And it's like we were there 2 weeks and I lost, 10 or 12 pounds.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any of my normal issues that I have here, and that's something that we have definitely reflected on quite a bit. And I'm glad that you had that experience there. Okay, the not so sexy topic. Was it difficult to stay focused on your studies while you were gone? And is that something that prospective students, what would you say to them about that?
Yeah, it definitely was hard to focus on studies. I already had a 3-day class week, and I would skip class, honestly. You shouldn't skip class, but I totally would. And I would talk with my teacher beforehand, too. And it was just, like, basic, because I was already a junior when I was studying abroad, and none of these classes mattered to me. And I had a discussion with our program director, Ignacio, and he's just like wonderful anyways.
Yeah.
He's great. And I told him, I was like, Ignacio, I'm here to just like travel and learn about different cultures. Like I've already have all of my business classes, because they only offer just like the starting business classes, and I'd already gone through all of those, that I had to like randomly just find classes that I hadn't already taken. And it's all Florida State professors who work at this. Yeah, it's all Florida State professors. Sometimes it's professors that usually work in Tallahassee, but if they feel like it, they can come and teach in Spain if they want to, which is super cool.
That's actually kind of nice.
Yes.
A break from the monotony.
Yeah.
Right?
It's really cool. And then, of course, some of my professors were Valencia locals, too, which was really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so I got to learn about just kind of international business and marketing, which was a class that I really liked. I liked my professor. So that was cool to just kind of see marketing from a different perspective, and just kind of how Spain works with the U.S. when marketing different things, which was awesome to learn about, especially with my major being marketing. That was the only one really directly related to my majors. I did take accounting while I was there, but that was just because I like kind of had to, and I had to convince my advisors in Tallahassee to let me take it online in Spain because I needed the credit, and I was like, I cannot waste an entire semester. Like I've got to do something. So that part I did like focus on accounting, and I didn't really like it, and had to take like really hard exams while I was there. That was the one class I think I really focused on the most. And then I took a general business class where I did a lot of public speaking, and I would get up and I would I taught a lot of the younger students about just my experience in college thus far, because a lot of those students were freshmen. They were first semester freshmen, and so they had never even stepped foot on Tallahassee's campus.
That's kind of interesting that they didn't have more time under their belt.
Before they made the
just go right in.
Yeah.
Are you glad that you had time under your belt?
I think so. I like the fact that I was older because I made better decisions too.
Yeah.
I think that if I was 18 years old and I was running around in Spain, I could have made really stupid decisions. Yeah, and I'm really glad that I didn't. Yeah, I'm glad that I was a little bit more grown up. I was 20 when I went, so that's 2 years later. And don't get me wrong, I didn't make the best decisions every time. Like, obviously, I still made mistakes, but I learned from them and had fun. I was safe. I was always safe. Yeah. But no, I did like the fact that I had some time under my belt. And it's a weird program that Florida State has. It's like if you don't get in for fall in Tallahassee, you have the option to do your first year abroad, to go straight in instead of having to do summer school or wait a semester to go. So that's another thing that FSU has, which is really interesting, which I know a ton of my friends were first year abroad, and they won't ever stop talking about it because it was just so cool.
Jealous.
Right?
Right.
I'm jealous.
It's like the pinnacle, and then everything else is like...
Right?
Yep.
Right? For sure.
So I did like that. But, of course, again, my food and wine class, like I loved it. It was my first time eating Indian food, actually. It was in Spain.
Oh. Yeah.
Which is really interesting, and it was really good. Nice. Yeah, Caesar, my teacher, he's a doctor, and he would just do this for fun. I think he did it for free. He was just like, yeah, I come in after work or whenever I want, and he's just like, I teach these kids about something I'm passionate in, which is nutrition, and then my culture. And then, and obviously, like, he was a big drinker, too, so wine, like, fell into that, too. But he was really cool, and just getting to pick his brain about all kinds of things. And he had lived in the U.S. for some time, so he was born in Valencia. He moved to the U.S., and then he moved back to Valencia because he missed his home. And he would take all of his students out to the bar afterwards, down the street, after class, and he'd be like, hey, guys, like, first round's on me, and he'd buy us all like a beer, and we'd all sit with him and just talk with him about his life and about his stories and his kids, and that was a lot of fun. So that was obviously my favorite class. But they do offer a lot of other classes that I think would be beneficial for those younger students that are going. So it's those preliminary classes for business or whatever. It's usually business classes, I think. I really didn't look much into the STEM type of classes. They offer Spanish classes too. And I didn't take Spanish because I had taken it for so long, and I was just like, I don't want that extra class on my time when I could just take a day off and go travel longer. But yeah, they were definitely very lenient with me because I was such an upperclassman at that time. Yeah.
Would you say that the experience you mentioned earlier, it was about 4 months, was that too long, too short, or just long enough? And did you struggle with any homesickness?
Yeah, I think for me, it was the perfect amount of time.
Okay.
I obviously want to go back. I miss Spain. It's 2 years now, and I would love to go back to Europe. But I think it was a good amount of time because I got enough time to travel to a bunch of places that I had never been before, but I definitely had a lot of homesickness because I am an only child, and I was raised by my parents, and we're all very close, and I didn't see them for the longest time.
And now I wondered about that.
Yeah, and it was really hard on me sometimes because, like, obviously while you're there and I'm living with so many people and there's drama always with people my age, that it was just like, dang, I miss my mom right now. I miss my dad. Like, where are they? And I had really bad homesickness when my dad went to Scotland and didn't come and see me. He's so close. He is so close, and he didn't come to see me because he had a tea time.
Oh, no. Okay, well, are you surprised?
No, like, I totally know. And then I was like,
I'm not surprised.
I'm not. Like, classic him. It's really funny. But I was like, okay, fine. Then I'm not coming to Scotland to see you if you're just going to have a tea time. Anyone will be seeing me anyways. Like, okay, bye. So I didn't see him the entirety of my time abroad. So that was just something that was really hard, especially with just... My dad's not always on his phone, too, and it was different times. So I hardly talked to my dad while we were abroad. We would try to call a couple of times a week. And then I'd talk to my mom, like, all the time because she's always on her phone, and I love it. Yeah. Because she would respond. Yeah, she would respond to me, and she would look at all my pictures, and she'd be like, okay, Lauren, like, calm down. Right. But that was fun. Yeah. And I would reach out to her. My dad doesn't have social media either, so she would be responding to all of my Instagram stories and Snapchats and seeing it. And I would send her vlogs on Snapchat and videos that she would look back and watch. And then I'd probably keep her up in the middle of the night, like calling her, telling her about my adventures.
So you touched on it a little bit earlier, but like as far as the unfounded apprehensions that you had and kind of the fears going into it, were those founded, or did it just wind up being a big nothing burger? Like,
it was just a bunch of nothing.
Yeah.
It was a little.
So what were you worried about before you went in?
Well, obviously my safety, of course, because
Yeah.
my mom and my dad kind of nailed it in my head. Like, you need to be so safe. You don't talk to anybody. You don't talk to strangers. You're going to get abducted. Like, all of these crazy
Right.
things. And they're making me watch, like, movies of, like, girls getting kidnapped. And I was, like, so scared. I'm like, oh, my gosh. Like, I'm going to have to carry mace on me at all times. And I'm going to have to be ready to, like, fight for myself on the street. And that I never once felt unsafe while I was there.
That's good.
Yeah, I never, and I'm like always heads on a swivel no matter where I go. Whenever I'm walking down the street somewhere, my phone's like in my purse. I'm paying attention to where I'm going. I'm not, it's just like, it's not like my head's up my butt. Like, I'm paying attention. And
That's the most important thing, I think.
Yeah.
Is to just be aware.
oh yeah, always be aware of your surroundings, because
That's
you
right.
never know. I did actually almost get pickpocketed in Paris.
Yeah.
And it was really funny because it was really cold because I went in the fall. So I had my huge trench coat on anyways. And I always would carry my purse underneath my jacket.
Yeah.
And underneath my
On the
clothes.
inside.
On the inside. So
Yeah,
it'd be
yeah.
like right under my arm. And obviously, like, they wouldn't be able to, like, get to me
Right.
anyways.
That's actually a good tip.
Yep.
Yep.
So safety tip for students, especially for girls, if you're carrying a purse, if you're wearing a jacket or anything like that, and you can carry your purse on the inside and then put the jacket over you, that's a good way. So I want to make sure people heard that.
Safety first.
Safety first. Definitely when you're going out, too. That's a huge
Yeah.
thing, because I knew a bunch of the underclassmen who got things stolen from them off their person,
Yeah.
or they lost their phone and they lost their ID because they just were being not smart and not keeping up with their things. But that's what I would always do. So I would probably, since it was cold, it was a little bit easier.
Right.
But I'd wear my purse under my leather jacket or whatever that I was going out in that night. Because in these clubs, because obviously there's a ton
Right.
of clubs in Europe, you're bumping and running into all kinds of people that you just don't know. They could bump into you and, like, slip their hand in your purse and grab whatever. So just being aware of that. But yeah, in Paris, this person was, like, trying to walk up next to me and, like,
Hard
get
pass.
to my purse, and then this kind of, like, badass French lady, like, came up. She was, like, in Louis Vuitton head to toe. Like, she was such a baddie. It was so cool. She came up and she, like, cursed out this guy in French, and then she was like, he's a pickpocket, like, you better watch out. And I was like, oh, I know, like, I didn't have anything. And she's like, I like you. And she kept walking, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was really cool. I'm pretty sure I wrote that in my journal too. But that was so fun. But just being aware of, like, pickpockets, definitely.
Right.
That was the only time I think I'd ever really felt unsafe, and that was just, like, an apprehension I had. And then other than that, I was just, like, scared of, like, what life was going to be like over there, and just if I
Yeah.
could even travel by myself at all and, like, figure things out for myself. And I was just like, you're going to have to.
Right.
You're just going to have to do it. Like, figure it out.
It's going to
Take
be
the
hard.
leap.
You
Yeah.
gotta figure it out.
And so that it all ended up just being nothing. And now whenever I'm traveling here, just doing whatever, I'm like, okay, I literally lived in Spain for 4 months and I traveled
Right.
to 14 places. Like, this is fine. This is nothing.
And I can imagine, like, the level of confidence you have with all these different places and the trains here and the subway there, and it's just so good to have all that confidence.
Yeah.
Being so young, because she's just going to be able to have so many other experiences, you know?
Yeah, we've done a lot of talking about that. I can say for myself that I think back in the day when I used to travel so much for work, that gave me a lot more confidence, because a lot of the times I would travel on my own. There were times I got to travel, you know, even with your mom from time to time, like to San Antonio or whatever. But it does give a different level of awareness when you're kind of responsible for yourself or your plans, and just kind of figuring the things out. You know, like, I know Joy's, to me, much more adventurous in certain areas than what I am. And we were actually just, the last show we were working on was her Alaska cruise, but, you know, it starts in Seattle before boarding. And so she was sharing some cool information about, it was one line, right?
Yep.
The one line. And so she's much better, I think, at being willing to figure out local transportation, which I think that's a different thing, dynamic, in terms of when you're a Jacksonville native, there's nothing that's close. You know, we didn't grow up with the concept of public transportation, you know, a subway, a metro, even busing. So I know for me, I tend to kind of do a little bit more of that. And she's been more willing to jump in, and it makes such a difference even on your pocketbook, because we were talking about the value of, for example, the one line, and it's like, yeah, we got here from the airport. So, you know, you've got all these type of choices. You've got Uber, you've got a taxi. Well, all of those, especially depending on the time of day, you can start forking over some major dollars on transportation, but yet they were able to just hop on this one line. It was literally right there. It was $3 to get all the way into town. And then if you just wanted to have, for example, a full day pass, it's like $6. So,
and there was no traffic, you know?
Yeah.
So
It's
time
easy.
too.
Yeah, it's easy. So I think those are important. And I don't want to veer too much, because I know we've got a little bit of that in the travel section. But is there anything else before we hop over to the parent section of this discussion that you would specifically like to say to students who you know may be watching or listening?
Yeah, students, have fun, live it up, but be safe. Have fun. Do everything that you can do. Don't be scared to book that trip. Like, book all of the trips and go on them and have a good time. Take lots of pictures. And even I know.
I love that. Take the pictures.
Take all of the pictures. I don't care if the people, your friends are your phone's always out. You're going to want those later. All my Snapchat memories go crazy. I have my 2 years ago today come up on my phone. Yep. And it's me doing whatever I was doing at that time. And I love looking back and watching them, because it was just a reminder of how fun it was and all of the things I got to do and experience. And then it gets me thinking about it again. And then it gives me the bug to want to go back and travel. And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Is that the opportunity? Could you go back through FSU and do another program?
I could, yeah. Okay. There's these two guys that I met on my study abroad program, and they did the entire full year abroad. And then they were also juniors, and they came back their junior fall again for a semester. So they did 3 semesters abroad just because they wanted to. It's just pretty much if you want to pay for it, you got to do it. Yeah, you can do it. And I mean, you do have to apply for it and whatnot. And some people don't get accepted their first time, but I was really lucky too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But, yeah, for me though, in college, I have only 1 more semester left. So sadly, I won't get to do that again.
Yeah. In that way.
In that way.
But let's talk about the parents for a minute. We've kind of touched on that too, but was it hard for your parents to see you go? And then do you have any advice for the parents that are listening?
Yeah.
What? to tell.
So definitely it was super hard for my parents to see me go, especially my dad, because he is so homebodied, and I'm
right. And he doesn't have social media.
Exactly.
So and he doesn't have anything else to do.
Nothing.
Golf. He has golf.
He has lots of golf. He just is such a homebody type of person, and he never really traveled too much out of the country. Yeah. Growing up or before he was an adult. Mm-hmm. And he was so scared, especially with me being the only child. And of course, I'm his little baby girl. He's oh my God, she's going to die. What am I going to do?
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Right? He literally would stay up at night.
There's unfounded fears too.
For sure.
Exactly. And we, honestly, it's a valid fear, because we actually, while I was living in Valencia, had this really detrimental flood that came in. We had a really terrible flood, and I was lucky to be living on the side of town that had the flood prevention from the river.
Because all they can see is the news.
The news. Yeah, my dad was on a business trip, and he saw the complete other half of town wiped out. There was thousands of deaths.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, it was terrible. And I did a lot of volunteering and collected all kinds of canned food to donate to these people who are out they don't have homes anymore. And he saw it on the news while he was traveling for work, and he calls me, and I didn't even realize that's what was happening on the other half of the city. Right. Because I just we had the flood prevention, it was just windy at this point. There wasn't any storming happening yet on my side of town. And I was walking to the grocery store while he called me freaking out. And it was like 2 a.m. here. And he was like, are you alive? Like, are you okay? Like, do I need to get on a flight and come and get you?
Aww.
I know, he was so scared. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm literally walking to the grocery store right now. Like, I'm fine. And he's like, do you not know what's happening? Because we hadn't gotten the notification yet from our school. Did a really good job at sending us notifications whenever there were things that were going on in the city. And literally during that call, I got the notification, stay inside, like close your windows, like be safe. But my half of town never really got it too bad. But it completely wiped out the train systems for a while, the airport. And so that was I think that was the scariest part of like me being there, but it barely even affected any of the students at all. So yeah, he definitely had a really, really tough time because I'm just not easily accessible being that far away, and that he can't come be Superman and come and save me. And then my mom, she obviously was scared, but she was really, really supportive of me going and studying abroad because she did it. And she was the one who helped convince my dad to be like, it's okay. Like, go let her do it. Like, she will be fine. She'll figure it out. I did it. And she's like, I did it. If I can do it, she can do it. It's fine. And so, yeah. And then for advice for parents, just take a deep breath. Like, please take a deep breath. It'll be okay. Your kids hopefully are smart enough to figure it out and not make bad decisions. But if they do make bad decisions, like, they just got to learn to overcome them and make better decisions from then on out.
It's good learning to make decisions,
it is,
especially early.
Yeah, it's really good learning, and I came back a lot more responsible, in my opinion. I think, especially like I can be irresponsible at some times when I'm just lazy about things, but when I know I really need to be responsible and like take care of something, like I can definitely get it done. And I'm more organized now after going there because I would plan out all of my trips, and I had all kinds of tabs open on my computer and notes of like what exactly I wanted to do so that I knew to make the most of my time there. Yep. But yeah, just they'll figure it out. They'll be fine. It's okay to worry, but you don't have to blow up their phones 24/7 asking if they're like dying. Like they're not dying. They're fine. They're having fun. Like that's all that matters. They're having a good time. So yeah, I'd say that's kind of the advice I would give. That's the advice at least I'd give my dad when he'd call me. I'd be like, take a deep breath, I'm fine. Like, it's literally all good. I'm hanging out.
Well, you actually led right into the question that I had. So it does sound like your mom having the opportunity to study abroad was helpful in the decision-making process. You know, honestly, outside of your mom, I cannot think of one person that I know that studied abroad. That really wasn't a thing here. But then again, I didn't go away to school. I wound up making the decision last minute to not go to Tampa or wherever it was I was going. And, you know, I stayed. I'd be curious to know, did the two of you kind of compare your experiences? So it was X number of years ago. Shh, we won't talk about that. Your mom actually did Paris. And then you did, you know, Spain. And so have you guys compared notes about what those two experiences looked like?
Yeah, I wouldn't say we like sat down and actually compared notes or like really had that kind of conversation, but I always grew up with my mom telling her stories of like how she studied abroad and what she went and what she did. At least when I'm getting a little bit more stories out of her now of like exactly what she did now that I'm a little bit older.
Yeah, it's kind of like shh.
Yeah, the good ones. So of her doing the things that probably I did too, but she had a different experience because it wasn't a campus that she lived on. Like Florida State, we had our campus. It was all of our own professors. She lived with a family.
Right. Which I think was more common back in our day.
Yeah.
What did they call that? Like,
or an exchange student.
No, but, well, yes.
There is a word
but there's a term for like a host family,
yes,
right?
It's a host family, right?
Okay, there you go.
So she lived with the host family, and so that is super different, and that's like really, really immersing yourself into the culture.
Real.
And so I'd say that's something that she definitely gained way more than I did because I didn't get that experience, and I think I totally would be like way more scared if I was going to go live with a random family, because it's like, oh, I don't know these people at all. They don't speak my language. I don't eat the food that they eat. Like, I don't know anything. So honestly, like, that is definitely a one-up she has on me. So I like tried to one-up her in other ways of like doing cooler things. No, not really, but just kind of like things like that. And but that is actually a really interesting point, and I feel like we definitely should kind of start to compare.
Yeah, I'd like to hear a couple of stories. I mean, your mom's told me a couple of stories, you know, over the years, but it's been cool because I know she actually speaks French. And every time she goes over, I think she still pretty much has that ability to communicate. And it's definitely helpful. I mean, I know Joy, we were laughing about her being over in Italy and trying the few things. And we were even joking around about how to pronounce the port city.
Civitavecchia.
Civitavecchia.
Yes.
I did good. I've been practicing. I was waiting the whole time to be able to do that. But no, like, it's all those little things, because sometimes the language can really be a challenge. But yes, I too took like 8 years of Spanish. And for me though, when I was in high school, I had one particular friend that I was very close with, and they were from Argentina. And so that's all they spoke. They barely spoke English at home. And when you're around it and you're speaking it, it really does become very easy. But boy, as the time goes by and you don't practice it.
Yep.
I mean, to this day, I still have some words, but I can't do what I used to do. And literally, like, I would have to kind of be like what you were describing when I was at her house, and I was at her house quite a bit. You know, if I wasn't speaking Spanish, I wasn't communicating.
Yep.
So yes, I do kind of have like sadness over the loss of that.
Yeah, but I noticed when I was in Spain, because obviously when I graduated high school, I would say that I was pretty much fluent. Like, I got a biliterate stamp on my diploma when I graduated high school. I could read and write and speak in Spanish.
Yep.
And then I went 3 years without using it at all, because everybody at Florida State speaks English.
Right.
But when I went back to Spain and I really got back into it, it's kind of like, it's always there in the back of your mind, and you kind of really have to dig really hard to get it out. But it's there. And it was really, really helpful that I had kind of that basis of Spanish, because I could have super simple conversations of just being like, this is what I'd like to order. Oh, can you help me find this if I'm in the grocery store? And just, and it was really helpful for my fellow students that I was with, because they didn't speak a lick of Spanish at all. And some of them weren't even taking Spanish classes. They were just there to have fun. And so they'd be like, Lauren, can you come with me? Because I can't like figure this out on myself. Exactly.
That's right.
Being able to read and write in Spanish too, especially read, was so helpful, because a bunch of like the signs, they're in Spanish, and like directing you to go to things, or just like when you're listening over the intercom in like the airport, like that, it makes it so much more helpful when it's like, okay, I don't know exactly where I'm going.
Yes. And the most important question, it's the one, I think, full sentence I still have.
Donde es el baño?
Oh yeah.
Exactly. And then
most important one.
The lo siento. I'm so sorry.
Yep.
That's so funny. I think that's about the only sentence I have left in me.
Well, that's a good sentence to have, though.
It is.
The most important.
That's
my
funny.
First sentence I ever learned, my mom taught me, it was dos cervezas, por favor, when I was a little kid.
Can I have a beer or 2 beers?
2 beers, please.
2 beers. Okay.
I learned that at probably the bright age of like 6.
Oh, how charming.
Fantastic. I know. She was teaching me the right things.
Get the kids to do stuff.
Hey guys, sorry to cut so abruptly on you, but we were having such a good time talking to Lauren about her awesome adventures. We just kept the cameras rolling. So next week, join us for part 2 of Semester Abroad and a special surprise. See you then.
Thanks for tuning in to Hit the Road with Mo and Joy. If you have questions or topic suggestions, we would love to hear from you. You can connect with us through our website at hittheroadwithmoandjoy.com. On the website, you'll find all the things: socials, blogs, recommendations, inspiration, and things you might need to know for upcoming travel. And if you'd like to partner or advertise with us and connect with our amazing audience across the country, feel free to reach out to us at hittheroadwithmoandjoy.com/media. That's it from us this week, but don't forget, get out there and explore.